from the veterans of the war. Ben.
You're right there. It's Veterans for Peace, but I don't think a Veterans for War exists yet. Maybe we can form one. That's all right, though. Okay, we're here today outside this this conference centre. I remember being here in 2009 when Tony Blair gave his, I think it was a day worth of evidence. The chief architect of this war was in there for about 6 hours total. That was the sum of his evidence that he gave. But anyway, we're out here today because they're publishing their report. And let's not forget whose report it is. It's the establishment's report. It's their version of history, their version of events. So yes, they might, be highly critical of Tony Blair, highly critical of the intelligence services, highly critical of generals. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I haven't read it yet. But let's not forget who's writing this. Let's not forget who gave the evidence. How many soldiers who served in Iraq gave evidence to that inquiry? Not very many. I don't think anyone below the rank of general gave any evidence. So let's not forget that. Whatever Chilcot says, I don't think there are many people living in this country who would argue with the fact that when us and America invaded Iraq in 2003, that amounted to a war of aggression. That is a war crime. After we invaded that country, in a joint enterprise with the United States of America, we carried out and conducted a brutal occupation, during which thousands were killed, thousands were tortured, homes destroyed, infrastructure destroyed and not rebuilt. Let's not forget that, because I'm not sure if much of that will be in the report. There are members of Veterans for Peace here today who would be quite happy to hand themselves into the police and give a full account of what we did in Iraq. Under the Nuremberg principles, those ultimately responsible for that attack and that occupation should face criminal investigation and trial. And it's not just Tony Blair, it's Jack Straw, it's General Mike Jackson, it's the head of MI6 and the head of MI5. And if we want to go down a rung, we can look at all those corporate interests that back the war, the arms industry and the media, and all the people in charge of them who push for that conflict. These people should be brought to account. Another narrative that is being spun here today is that somehow Iraq was a one-off, right? Some minor occurrence in British history, in British modern history, during which we fucked up. But let's have a look at what we've done since that invasion. 2006, we re-invaded Afghanistan. We sent thousands of troops into Afghanistan, into Helmand province. Hundreds of them were killed. Thousands of Afghan civilians were killed. And then we left for nothing. All for nothing. We have also carried out an aerial attack on the sovereign country of Libya, tearing that country into pieces and allowing or setting loose violent Islamist insurgent groups that are tearing that country to bits. We have bombed Syria. We are currently bombing Iraq again. And whilst we stand here, British arms companies, the British military, British intelligence are helping our noble allies, the Saudi Arabians, to attack another sovereign country, the Yemen, where tens of thousands of people have been killed and injured. So let's not forget that. As a member of Veterans for Peace, and all of the lads here and the women here will back me up on this, Britain's got a problem. And our problem is this, is that we are a militaristic society. We think that every problem can be bombed or attacked. We think that if people around the world don't agree with us, we can just attack them and make them agree. But we don't believe that. And we want to get this message out, that war is not the solution to the problems the world faces and it's in the 21st century. And that idea needs to spread. It needs to spread from people like us to people over there who sit in that decrepit place, so that they are under no doubt that the majority of the people in this country do not believe that we should be fighting wars around the world to further our own interests. Thank you.